lady! She's a Trancer! Goddammit, help me!
So begins Trancers, a film that proves that just because you're ripping off another movie, that doesn't mean you can't stake your own claim in genre history. Trancers is a kinetic mixture, giving you a little bit of Blade Runner, a dash of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, a sprinkle of Night of the Living Dead, and a very generous helping of the Terminator. Tim Thomerson plays Jack Deth, a hard-boiled cop in the 23rd century metropolis of Angel City. It's his job to hunt Trancers, the zombie-like minions of the recently killed Martin Whistler. Unfortunately, Whistler isn't as dead as, well, Deth would like him to be. Instead, Whistler has gone back in time to 1985 Los Angeles in order to murder the descendants of the council that controls everything going on in Angel City. By killing their descendants, there is no resistance to the mindless killing machines taking over in the future. Sound familiar? A new wrinkle in the whole time travel thing is that people don't physically travel back in time, their consciousness does. In order to go back in time, you are injected with a drug or something or other that sends your brain back in time. The only people that can handle the trip are your own ancestors. Hence, Jack Deth has gone back to inhabit the body of Playboy journalist Philip Deth. He immediately finds a reluctant ally in the one-night stand Phil had bedded the night before. That girl is Lena, a sort of punk rocker played by none other than future Academy Award winner Helen Hunt. Jack doesn't really intend to get Lena involved, but when he is attacked at the mall where she's working, there's really nothing he can do about it.
What's wrong with Murray?
He's a Trancer.
A what? Oh my God, what are you doing? One of your friends? Security, we've got trouble at the North Pole.
Jack and Lena try to track down the Council's descendants while avoiding Whistler. And that's a big problem, because Whistler has traveled back into the consciousness of his own ancestor, a highly decorated police detective. Now, Jack is wanted for murder, and Whistler commands a legion of cops turned Trancers. The chase sends them from Santa Monica to Chinatown to Skid Row, where they need to protect a former Major League Baseball player who's fallen on hard times. Trancers is just non-stop fun. It squeezes more story and excitement in 76 minutes than most big-budget films can handle at twice that length. And it does it on the cheap, too. It's directed by Charles Band, someone who I've been following since I was barely able to walk. Band has tons of films under his belt, and was the founder of Media Home Entertainment, Wizard Video, Empire Pictures, and Full Moon Entertainment. Trancers is among the best of the 40-plus films Band has directed himself and the 250-plus films he's produced. Part of that is the crackerjack pacing, which doesn't let up for a second. Another part is the great dialogue, and yet another part is taking elements that were obviously inspired by other films and bringing them into an arena that is Trancers' personal playground. The screenplay was written by Danny Bilson and Paul DeMeo, a great writing team who would do a couple flicks for Charles Band. Later, they would show their love of comic books by writing The Rocketeer, still one of the most satisfying comic-to-screen adaptations, and producing the television series The Flash and The Human Target. Another element contributing to Trancers' success is the great cast. Thomerson was a stand-up comic whose timing made him a natural for the film's tongue-in-cheek humor, while his grizzled looks and seen-it-all voice made him perfect for Jack Deth. Thomerson had first hooked up with Charles Band in the 1983 film Metal Storm, The Destruction of Jared Sin. Now, don't worry, we'll be getting to that film later on. Helen Hunt had already been acting for a while, a staple on television and appearing in a number of major films. Her career would, of course, shoot even higher soon after Trancers, and it's easy to see why here. She is perfect as Lena, young and confused, but very independent and strong-willed. And I'm going to give Helen Hunt credit for something. There have been a number of sequels to Trancers over the years. Helen Hunt showed up for the original sequel, which was a short subject in an aborted anthology film. She then continued to co-star in Trancers 2 and 3 well into the 1990s and allowed her character to complete a satisfying arc. Now, by this time, she was already getting lots of big film roles and was even starting the hit TV show Mad About You. Helen Hunt didn't need to honor her commitment, and in fact, many actors put in similar situations have refused to reprise their roles in low-budget film series, choosing instead to distance themselves from the exploitation films they had done in the past. Hunt stuck around, showing loyalty to the character she brought to life and the franchise where she had made her mark. That's class right there, people. No matter what my opinion is of what women want, Hunt will always have my respect for that. Jack and Lena complement each other perfectly. Jack's the lone wolf character who doesn't play by the rules, and Lena is somebody who discovers her own individuality when she's put in crazy situations.
Cheer up. You just sent your first Trancer.
Great.
I've lost track of how many times I've watched Trancers over the years. It's just a great little film that rose above what many would have had planned for it. It fires on all cylinders, giving you a funny, exciting sci-fi actioner with great characters and lots of tricks up its sleeve.
Welcome to the 20th century, Jack Deth.